Hello and welcome to yet another video. As I mentioned earlier, in this channel, our goal is to educate you on all matters to do with HR so that you get it right with all HR functions and structures. Today, we're basically discussing on a very interesting topic, that is how to conduct redundancy processes in Kenya. I do believe you'll find this very insightful. I'm glad to be joined by Paminas, our lead HR consultant. He has been in this industry for a span of 14 years now, and I believe the wealth of knowledge and experience that he has on matters to do with redundancy will really come in handy for you. Thank you, Paminas, for joining.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, talking about redundancy, and the question that comes to my mind is redundancy the same as other forms of termination?
No, it's not, Mary, because redundancy is quite unique. So there are various ways you can terminate a contract. So number one, it could be due performance. So the employee is not meeting your expectation. It could be also because it's a fixed term contract. So you agree this contract is expiring on a certain date. It could also be because of, let's say, death, unfortunate death of an employee that would happen. Another reason, it could be even on disciplinary matters. Yeah. So what makes redundancy stands out is because you are terminating an employee because of no fault of their own. It's no fault of their own. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a branch in a certain town and you want to close that branch because it's not profitable. Then the employees will stand to lose their job, but it's really not their fault. You are the one who's made that decision. Or let's say you want to restructure your organization to be more efficient. Or you look at your organization and you say, well, we want to outsource digital marketing. We no longer want to have it in-house. Or we want to outsource HR, like that's a service we offer here at corporate staffing. So again, it's your decision. It's not the employer. The employee could even be doing very well, but for one reason or another, you say, maybe corporate staffing will give us, more skills. Yeah. So, Mary, that's the difference. Redundancy is the employee loses a job because of no fault of their own. So then you, as an employer, there are certain conditions you need to meet. There's a certain process you need to follow. Yeah.
Now, with reference to the Kenyan context, how can an employer or an organization conduct the redundancy process?
Yeah. So the process is outlined by the Employment Act, and as of now it's Cap 2007. That's the last time the law was passed. So the law does set out what are the minimum requirements. And also we find that the courts have also ruled on what the employer needs to do. So the process is very important, Mary. Yeah. So what do I advise employers? So if you are to undertake a redundancy process, the starting point is to do a letter to the employees who are likely to be affected. And you issue the employees what we call a letter of intention to declare their role redundant. Yeah. Because as per the 2010 Constitution, you're supposed to get into a discussion with the employees to see are there ways you can be able to avert that redundancy. So you first issue them with a letter of intention. After that, you get into a discussion, and within 30 days, if the redundancy cannot be averted, you are then supposed to inform the union, if your staff are unionizable, and at the same time, you inform the Ministry of Labor. And then it's only when you get the go-ahead from the Ministry of Labor, then you can come and terminate the employee's contract. Yeah. And then you terminate it based on the conditions. So if you need to give this person 7 days notice, if they're on probation, you do that. If they need to be given 30 days, you do that. So that is the process. And as you can see, what makes it, redundancy is the only form of termination where it is not you who decides. The ultimate decision is the Ministry of Labor. So you do have to take a letter to the Ministry of Labor outlining the reason and even the criteria. For example, for you, there are two other people involved. There's John who helps us with the video, there's Nancy who helps us, and there's you. So people may not see, people only see us, but there are other people involved. So assume we were to scrap this department and maybe retain only John. Then we'd have to provide a reason. Why does Mary and Nancy, why them? Why are they affected? And those are the questions that the Ministry of Labor will ask you. Yeah. If they are satisfied, then they will grant you the decision.
They go ahead.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, what I'm learning, and I believe someone watching this video is equally learning, is that redundancy is a process.
It is a process.
As an employer, you don't just wake up in the morning and you declare your employees redundant.
Yes. Yeah. And the other thing I forgot, Mary, is then there's a payment involved. Yes, we call it severance pay. It's provided for by the law, not me. So for every year an employee has worked, full-time, not contract, they're entitled to half of their salary. So if someone is earning 100,000 today, so for every year they've worked, you pay them 50,000.
If they're being declared redundant.
Yes, if they've worked for 4 years, you can see 50,000 times 4 years for each full year of service. Yeah.
Great. Now, how does corporate staffing services come in handy to support employers conduct a legally process through the redundancy process?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So many of the employers, even if they have a HR department, they want to make sure that, number one, they are following the law. Number two, the final dues they are calculating are actually what is due to the employee, in the sense that they are not overpaying and neither are they underpaying. That's very important. Number three, as you can see, the process is very important too. So we help you from the drafting letters all the way to making sure that, you know, interacting with the employees who are affected, to liaising with the Ministry of Labor, to making sure that the documentation is done the right way. So we look at the rights and the responsibilities of both parties. So we make sure the employees are taken care of and the employer also interests are taken care of, such that there's no gap.
Great.
Yeah.
Interesting. I believe this is very educative to
and
anyone.
I forgot to say also
video.
consultation is free. So if you are thinking of undertaking a redundancy, we can also come in and advise, is redundancy the best option? Yeah, so consultation is free. We will not charge you for the initial 15-30 minutes consultation. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Great. As an employer, as Paminas has mentioned, redundancy indeed is a process, and it is important to get to know the entire process, how it works, so that both parties are well taken care of smoothly as even the employees transition or you declare them redundant. And I like the part where Paminas has mentioned that the consultation is absolutely free. So feel free to reach out to us. We'll be able to advise actually by asking the question, is this the best option to take for you? If yes, how can you go about it legally in a more legal and professional way? We look forward to have you reach out to us, and we look forward to work with you that journey professionally so that we don't find yourself in a situation whereby it gets even to a court case. Matters HR sometimes can be very sensitive. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.